This is Jamey Boyum in Longview. I'm here at LISD Administration, and we're going to have a little conversation with Dr. James Wilcox. Why did you decide to put in your retirement notice?
Well, first of all, my time here in Longview has been wonderful. It's been a blessing for me and my family. But I wanted to give our Board of Trustees, which has been an excellent group of individuals over the years to work for and with, and I wanted to give them adequate time to find a suitable replacement and not have to rush into that. The board can take some time and consider what they want and how they want to get there. And I'll be available 100% to support their choice and work with that person in whatever way the board directs me to and wants me to. We have a lot of irons in the fire here in Longview, and a lot of different things going on that are unique to here in Longview. Number one would be our International Baccalaureate program. And we're the only district in the United States, public schools, that offers that on every campus, K to 12. And that's a big undertaking, but it's a definite benefit to the students of the district. And, a number of places have IB baccalaureate degree programs when they get to high school. But if you hadn't trained yourself all along and been instructed by trained teachers, it's a heavy lift for you to get there. And that's why we want all of our teachers IB authorized from kindergarten through the 12th grade, where every student here in Longview gets that benefit, not just the elite. We want every student to.
Well, that's, you're thinking about it, almost goes without saying, but anybody who comes in to replace you has got to get very familiar with what's going on so that when they actually do start working, they can hit the ground running, right?
That was the goal and the thought behind giving the extended notification of when I wanted to retire.
So, how did you start in all this?
It was a long process, a lot of study, and a lot of time looking at actually what is best, for kids. The International Baccalaureate program, which was started by our service members and our governmental relations people stationed around the world. Well, if you're in a third world country, it goes by definition, the educational system is not very good. So our diplomats and our military leaders decided we need to start our own school. And then when they came back to the United States, they said, well, we want to start our own school. We want a school that has the IB components in it. And when they got back to Washington, D.C. or San Francisco or Los Angeles or Detroit or Chicago, it wasn't available. And so they started that years ago, and it's developed to what it is now, which is more or less an automatic acceptance to the public school, university of your choice when you graduate. And we all know how complicated that is and how competitive. And the same thing on our Montessori. We looked at Montessori, and I guess the tipping point was when all the information on the sister Montessori, who started the program in the slums of Italy and Rome and other places there, and then there's documentation from the 40s showing how it helps poor kids catch up and be successful. Well, when we were in the IB authorization process, our IB, they send in people from out of state and other districts and stuff to review you. We had two ladies from New York City and one from Cherry Grove, Colorado, which is one of the leading schools in Colorado, and I was talking about how positive I was about our Montessori program helping our kids of poverty catch up. And he said, well, don't you know that IB recommends Montessori to accelerate early childhood students into preparation for their diploma program? And I said, no, I didn't. And after he left, I thought about that more and more and discussed it with our Board of Trustees. Here is a program that has decades of data showing that it helps poor, disadvantaged students catch up. And at the same time, it's recommended by the elite, our most intelligent students, our most gifted students. This is what we want you to do to accelerate your learning to a higher plane. So if you have a program that fits both of these categories, my question is, why doesn't everybody offer it?
Makes sense. Now, what about you? I mean, how did you get to be superintendent? Is there any way you give me a condensed version of how you started? And you don't start when you were 12, maybe a little older than that. But I mean, I guess when you were in school, did you have an interest in teaching, education, that kind of thing?
Absolutely not. When I was in high school in Little Cypress, Mauriceville, down on the Gulf Coast in Orange, Texas, about a mile from the Sabine River, 3 or 4 miles from Sabine Lake, back in the boonies and the woods, and I'd never heard of Montessori or IB, and I thought I was going to be go into business and be a heavy equipment salesman.
Okay.
My baccalaureate degree is in business administration, with an emphasis in marketing, and I was going to go sell heavy equipment and sell a drilling rig or two or giant coal moving crane once or twice a year, and that would be it. Somewhere along my junior year, I decided, well, I think I want to go into education. So I taught special education for 5 years, and during that time I also taught honors classes for psychology, sociology, and government. And then I got, after 5 years, I was an assistant principal in Hampshire Finette for 2 years, high school principal for 2 years, and assistant superintendent for 1. And then moved on, and Joshua and Hooks and Waxahachie, and then here to Longview.
So you just got in a kayak and paddled upstream up the Sabine.
Pretty much up the Sabine. Jan and I have talked about that. We live a couple of miles from the river now, and I grew up about a mile from the river, so it's a lot narrower in Longview than it is in Orange.
I would imagine so, yeah. So how long have you been here with the district?
17 years.
Okay. And you started as superintendent?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the previous school?
Waxahachie.
Waxahachie, yeah,
Yeah.
you mentioned that. Okay. And so, what kind of changes do you think you've helped usher in to the schools?
Well, I think the biggest accomplishment here in Longview is, and there's plenty of data to prove it, we have improved the learning of all students in this district in the last 17 years. There's no question. Go back and look at not my opinion, but look at the state data for the Longview ISD in school years 06, 07, and look at where we are today. We're an A-rated district. We have a 90% free and reduced price lunch. We're the largest district east of 45 that's A-rated with the sub-pops, the low socioeconomic groups we have here in the district. And on the TEAs, here again, not my opinion, but data and fact, TEA gave us last year a 100% in financial integrity. Well, that's not my opinion. That's not me saying that or our Board of Trustees. TEA says we have a 100% rating on financial integrity. We're also an A rated in the actual performance of our students on STAR, and that student population is 90% free and reduced price lunch. And I couldn't be prouder of all the things that we've accomplished here. Not only just IB and Montessori, but the great accomplishments we've made in CATE, in our career and technologies, in our vocational ag program. We had 3 students make Lone Star Farmer this past year. And when I came here in '07, the ag program had been shelved a number of years before and abandoned. We are now in the top 10% in the state of Texas in the size of our vocational agriculture program. And we have wonderful teachers and give our students an opportunity, as in all our career and technology. We want to expand that. We don't have enough room right now to offer air conditioning and heating. And in Texas, your air conditioner has to work. And those guys, not everybody wants to go to college. But if you want to graduate and you want to make a great living, that's why we offer our technology information systems. That's why we offer cosmetology. That's why we offer welding. That's why we offer auto mechanics. And we want to add air conditioning, because you can start out making $100,000 a year right out of high school if you know how to fix, know how to work on air conditioning systems. There's some things that are not debatable, and you cannot do without your air here in East Texas.
Or plumbing.
Or plumbing. And we have those courses available. We want 70% of our students will stay here in the Longview area. We want them to go out and get good paying jobs, pay taxes, be contributing citizens, and just be part of the solution, not part of the problem. It's real easy to be a naysayer. It's a little hard to go out and do what's right for you and your community. And that's what we want. We want people to raise their family here in Longview, be proud of Longview, be proud of Longview ISD, but be a contributing citizen. And they have to have skills to do that, and that's what we're trying to provide.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper that way.
It is for everyone.
Now, I've heard some vicious rumors that people all over Texas, other school districts, call you for advice. Is that true?
We get a number of phone calls from districts wanting to know how we are doing this and why we're doing that. Everything from our garden, another thing that we're proud of. School cafeterias are not known for high quality, breakfast and lunch. So that's why we decided, and right back here to the north of the building, we have a 5-acre garden. And they supplied about 15,000 pounds last year of fresh produce to our cafeterias, which our kids ate and they loved. And we don't know of any place else in the state that does that. So we get frequent questions about how we're doing that and why. It's a conscious decision you make. We're going to spend money to give our kids better breakfast and better lunch. And also, we take all our elementary schools out there for field trips. And normally, when they leave, they get one little plant, little seedling in a little cup, and we encourage them to go home and plant it. There's no apartment or house in Longview where you don't have steps or a porch where you can put your plant and watch it grow. And we want to change the nutrition of our students just one plant at a time. Eggs don't come from Walmart. They come from chickens. Steak doesn't come from Sam's. It comes from cows. And produce doesn't come in a can. It's a nice, fresh vegetable that if you can eat that and change your health, change your well-being, you can change your life. It's the same way for our health and wellness program that our Assistant Superintendent for Finance, Dr. Guidry, has started, where we track the health and fitness of our staff voluntarily, if you want to join. but there's a video online that shows the opinion of staff members who participated in that last year. And one lady lost 40 pounds, and she said, I feel so much better. And she said, you know, to get my steps in, I don't sit at my desk at all anymore. I get up and walk around the room helping individual students to help get my steps in. Well, the unintended consequence of our health and wellness program, besides having a healthier teacher, and the teachers are the key to what we do. We want the best teacher we can get in front of our students every day. We don't want you to take off sick. If you're sick, take off, but we want your overall health to be better, which is why we started a health and wellness program. She said, now I walk around and I talk to my kids that I didn't miss a day last year. And I get up and I walk around and I visit with the students, and I lost this weight, but the kids are the winners. She's up walking around the class. She was a great teacher before. Now she's even better because she's given more individualized instruction to her kids every day.
Interaction.
And the list goes on and on. At the state conference next week, we're going to give 3 presentations. One on our outreach to our minority community members, one on our garden I was just talking about, and then another one on our IB international programs. So when you go out and do that, and board members from all over the state see you do that, they call and say, hey, how are you doing this? How are you doing that?
So, I don't know if you can, but if there's one thing that you could name that you're particularly proud of during your tenure here, what would that be?
I would have to say our Montessori program. To take our Head Start kids, our 3-year-olds, and then put them in with our pre-K and our K at 3, 4, 5, and 6, and let them have a level playing field when they start reading. We want our kindergartners to leave kindergarten reading and writing. And other things like knowing your colors, knowing your letters, and you have to do that before you can read. And we're not there yet. We're working every day to improve the delivery of our youngest students. And our Playing for Keeps, we take children at 6 weeks old, I said 6 weeks old, and move them along with certified, prepared educators till they're ready to go into Head Start at 3. And common sense would tell you, plus all the research and all the data, the earlier a child is stimulated to read and to write, the better they're going to be. And if you're in a broken home, or if you're being raised by a relative, those people have jobs and they've got to work, and they may not have time to buy you the latest books and the latest video games that some of our other students have those opportunities. So early intervention for our kids, I said starting at 6 weeks old, and we have a waiting list. I understand it's over 300 students waiting to get in, and they applied knowing they probably wouldn't. So I feel like we have another 300 that would like to get in there, and that's why we're looking at expanding that facility with our November 7th bond.
All right, so it sounds to me this can be summed up in 3 words: deep, healthy roots.
We hope so. We hope so. That's what we want to give. I would give you another 3 words: a level playing field. A level playing field for every child in Longview to compete, and that makes a better Texas for every one of us. Not just a better Longview, but a better Texas and a better United States, when every person, every child can come out, compete at whatever their level is. But we don't know, so that's why we're going to prepare all of them to compete at the highest level. And if they want to be a air conditioner repairman and make $100,000, that's great. If they want to go off and be a cancer researcher, that's all right too. We're going to prepare both of those students to be the best that they can be, and that's all we want to do.
Anything you'd like to add?
Now, I've had a great tenure here in Longview. I've worked with some truly exceptional board members. Every single board member I've had the last 17 years, the one thing they all had in common, they loved Longview, they loved the students, and their intentions were to help as much as they could improve and continue the great education we're providing here in Longview ISD. Every single one of them. Every one of them.
Well, James, I guess after all that work, it's time to retire. That's a pretty good bank of work right there.
Jan and I are going to the lake. We're going to be right here south of town. It is part of Longview ISD, and looking forward to it. And we love it out there, and we love it here in Longview.
All right, so you're going to continue paying taxes?
Yes, sir.
All right, there you go.
I will.
Well, thanks for the conversation. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
We'll have more later on KLTV 7 News and KLTV.com.